This is the Barbados Today evening news for Friday, May 18. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Our top story this evening, Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson has summoned the Chief Immigration Officer to clarify the status of 9 Commonwealth nationals who have not been included on the voters list. The development comes as the Supreme Court hears an application from 14 more Commonwealth citizens to be allowed to vote in next week's general election. This comes almost a week after the Caribbean Court of Justice ruled that St. Lucian Eddie Ventos should be allowed to register as an elector in Barbados. One of the attorneys for the 14 spoke to the media this evening.
Since as early as March, she has been liaising with the Office of the Chief Immigration Officer, trying to verify the residency of a number of the Commonwealth citizens that have applied. She's still waiting. So essentially, her hands are tied. She can't verify residency until he gets back to her. She received a list yesterday evening by email from him with some of the stuff verified for some, and she'll update the register to suit. There are apparently 5 of our litigants who were on that list she received yesterday, and they will be added. So the chief has adjourned it for an hour because he is summoning the Chief Immigration Officer to come and say how soon he can verify the other 9 named claimants in our action. Because if he can verify them, she said she can do an addendum to the list tomorrow and add the extra 9. He is not concerning himself with other Commonwealth citizens at this time or with anybody else on the list she provided. And that's where we are right now.
A ruling is expected on the matter later this evening. Barbados Today understands that 122 Commonwealth nationals have been approved to vote in the election. In other news, 3 people, including a woman, have been arrested in connection with a series of burglaries in southern Barbados. Acting Superintendent of Police in charge of the Southern Division, Bruce Rowe, had called in reporters this afternoon to display the stolen items for identification purposes. But the property was quickly recovered by the owners after police used social media and word of mouth to spread the message. Rowe says the 3 suspects are being charged with burglary, robbery, theft and handling stolen property. He says there is a big problem with burglaries in southern Barbados, but investigators are working to tackle the issue.
Within the last 2 days, we have been able to clear about 15 cases where we are in the process of charging 3 persons, including a female, for burglaries, robberies, thefts, and handling stolen property. Right? The areas we're still focused on, as far as burglaries are concerned, the Fair Home Gardens, Maxwell Hill, Jura, Silver Sands, and as far out as the District C station area.
Rowe is also encouraging homeowners to share the contents of their CCTV with the police whenever a crime is committed on their property so they can quickly catch the perpetrators. And turning to the election campaign, he noted that there have been no major incidents so far, and this week's early polling for police officers and electoral officials went smoothly.
We have systems in place. We are policing the elections according to the operational plan of the force, but I will want to say to you that our policing of the election will not minimize our policing of the country. We still have to police Barbados, and we are policing Barbados. Policemen are giving above and beyond what is normal to assist us in policing this country and dealing with the elections as well.
President of the Barbados Manufacturing Association, Robert Noel, is calling on whoever forms the next government to give priority to the struggling manufacturing sector, and he wants it to be treated with the same level of importance as tourism. Noel was addressing the opening of BMEX 2018 this morning.
While I'm no politician, it's true, I wish to campaign on behalf of the sector which I was duly elected to represent, and of which I've been proud member for several years. As president of the BMA, I implore whichever party forms the next government to give greater consideration to the needs of the local manufacturing sector, to provide it with the support it needs to grow, and to see its importance in the same way which it sees the tourism and financial services sector. Our manufacturing sector creates jobs for countless Barbadians and utilizes local resources wherever possible to add value to the products created.
Meanwhile, Commerce Minister Donville Innes says he would like to see growth in the manufacturing sector. Innes says there is a need for new vision in order to expand growth. According to him, despite government's assistance over the years, there are still a number of challenges to be addressed. Innes was speaking at the official opening of BMEX this morning at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre.
Clearly, these provisions have not brought about the level of competitiveness anticipated. And with the passage of time, the emergence of financial services as the primary attraction of foreign investors and the erosion of once vibrant subsectors like electronics, apparel, and furniture, the manufacturing sector has not been growing as we would have liked over the years. Barbados' competitiveness has never been on the basis of low labor costs. Other countries are better placed to leverage this advantage. We've accepted that Barbados cannot compete with the Chinas of this world, and even on a smaller regional scale, with lower-cost producers like Jamaica and Trinidad.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
One night, one winner, only one team can deliver. Balance, comprehensive, unrivaled coverage. Barbados Today, Capital Media HD 99.3, and 6 Gear Studios. Don't miss election night on www.facebook.com/Barbados Today, on www.barbadostoday.bb, live on www.capitalmediahd.com, and on www.facebook.com/Capital Media HD.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. More than 100 people were killed when a plane crashed after takeoff in Cuba today. We get more in this Reuters report.
Of the 114 passengers and crew on board, there were 3 seriously injured people who survived, said Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel. Images from the scene show the wreckage in a plume of smoke, with ambulances and firefighters pulling people out on stretchers. Flight tracking websites indicate that this was domestic flight CU-972, which departed at 11 a.m. and was headed just 500 miles east to the Cuban city of Holguin.
And on the international scene, police in Texas have charged a 17-year-old student in the shooting of 10 people, including fellow pupils, at his high school on Friday. It was a scene similar to the massacre at a Florida high school earlier this year. We get more in this Reuters report.
All we heard was run, run, and next thing you know, we hear boom, boom.
Those were the moments it became clear to sophomore Dakota Schrader that a shooting at her Texas high school was taking place. Now 10 are dead and another 10 injured in an attack that shook the Houston area town of Santa Fe. So far, 2 people have been detained. One has been identified by police as Demetrius Pagorchis, who is suspected to have fired the shots.
The shooter has information contained in journals on his computer and cell phone that he said that not only did he want to commit the shooting, but he wanted to commit suicide.
While Pagorchis has now been booked into county jail, authorities are dealing with another hazard, explosives.
One was a CO2 device. Another was a Molotov cocktail.
The shots began early Friday morning, shortly before 8 a.m. The Texas shooting comes just 3 months after an assailant killed 17 students and staff at a Parkland, Florida high school.
And that's news this evening. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also sign up for BT's WhatsApp news alerts, and you can subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good evening.